Welcome back to the channel, guys. Sorry, just had a bit of technical difficulty there just with my mic. Obviously was muted. Thank you for the people in the live chat to tell me that it was, of course, muted. In today's video, guys, of course, we are going to be discussing today's headline, which of course is a shock Premier League revelation that will impact Liverpool. So we'll discuss that in today's live stream. Whilst also going over the season ticket prices, as there has been some news come out, or Liverpool have announced that there is new season ticket prices, and surprise, surprise, it has gone up in price, whilst also going over the victory, of course, yesterday that does have the Reds back at the top of the table. But as always, guys, if you can, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course get involved down there in the live chat. Who was your standout player last night? Who was your best player last night? And let's get into it. Of course, look, as you can see there, matches played, 30, 1 down, 8 to go, and it just feels that we're a lot closer. We're getting closer and closer and closer towards that Premier League title. We win the next 8 games, we will be Premier League champions. Of course, it is easier said than done, but as you can see there, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer and closer to the finishing line. And again, another good fought win yesterday at Anfield against a side that actually posed us a lot of problems. A Sheffield United side that I felt were very, very good, especially defensively. And let's get into that one, guys, there, and then we'll sort of round up the other stuff. Sorry for the dodgy start to the show, but we have got quite a lot of stuff to go over, so yeah, well, let's get through it. So yes, the win yesterday, of course, 3-1 to the Reds, and just in this moment, or this segment, I just want to speak about the game a little bit, speak about the talk of the match, the main talking points from the game, and of course, as always, as is Liverpool fashion, every single time we play against a side, whether that be at Anfield or away from home, we always give a side a very, very big chance in this sort of opening 2 minutes. Yesterday's case was in the opening 30 seconds. McAtee, of course, having a point blank range, a really good opportunity for him to get the opening goal, but Kelleher with a sublime save, and he's been absolutely fantastic here so far this season, standing in for Alisson. He's really been fantastic, and again comes up with the goods right at the start with a huge save to deny Sheffield United from taking the lead. And to be honest, I didn't know if it would take us a little bit of time to get going, but that wasn't the case, and we started to play our game, started to move into our game, and of course get the opening goal through Darwin Núñez, who of course presses the goalkeeper, puts pressure on the goalkeeper, and gets his reward. So it was absolutely a good start in the end, despite that first big chance that we given away. However, the game did sort of fizzle out a little bit from Liverpool. Of course, I felt Sheffield United made it very hard for the Reds, especially defensively, well organised, and they didn't really just come there to just park the bus. I thought they were giving it a go as well, and to be honest, as the game wore on, we obviously got a little bit better. Of course, Alexis Mac Allister challenging his inner Steven Gerrard gets us the goal to put us 2-1 up, and of course Alexis Mac Allister, of course, is taking a lot of the headlines today because, well, he's been absolutely fantastic over the last 6 or 7 games and scores an absolute beautiful goal, and again, everyone's sort of dubbing the man as a steal, £35 million steal, and he has just been that. He's been absolutely fantastic for Liverpool, and again comes up with the goods once more in the game against Sheffield United. And of course, the man who gets of course we did concede a goal, but prior to that, of course, the Sheffield United get an equaliser, but of course, as we went on to go on and find that third goal, Cody Gakpo, a player that has been low on confidence at this moment in time, a player that's been dug out by a lot of the support recently, a player that a lot of people were saying he's not very good, but he got another goal, and his stats, or his goals and assists, are looking pretty good so far this season. So hopefully that's a bit more of a confidence booster for him, and he can really kick on as well. I thought other players were good. Was Conor Bradley, despite the own goal. I thought Conor Bradley was absolutely fantastic. I thought Virgil van Dijk did a very good job from the back, also pushing forward. And Joe Gomez again once more. He was pivotal in things going forward as well for Liverpool. So a lot of standout players yesterday. Again, hard work at the office once more. However, the most important thing is, guys, we have got 3 points on the board and we move to the next game. Now, of course, whilst we were playing, this bad boy happened. Yes, I don't really like to discuss other teams on this channel too much, but of course, potentially did have one eye on the mid-table clash between Chelsea and Manchester United. And just because, well, we are playing Manchester United next, it was in decent interest to see where their result would swing. And of course, an interesting match. My brother actually watched that game and said it was probably the best game he's ever watched. Between in a Chelsea, he's been his best game he's watched ever in the Premier League, is what he said. So there was a lot of drama in that game. Of course, Chelsea did go 2-0 up. Manchester United managed to get it back to 2-2, and then 3-2, and then of course. Chelsea managed to get 2 goals in 83 seconds right at the end of the match to send Manchester United home with nothing and lacking in confidence, of course, as we're playing up against them next. Look, there was a lot of more big news. Of course, they're currently going for an injury crisis at this moment in time, Manchester United, so they are without a lot of centre-backs. In terms of, we already knew that Victor Lindelof, we already knew that Martinez was going to be out for the game. Varane, he's now out. Now as well, Evans is out, and it does look as though Harry Maguire is the only fit centre-back going into that game between Manchester United and Liverpool at the weekend, which does in turn give us a huge boost. I don't like to celebrate players' injuries. I don't like to celebrate the opposition players' injuries, but you can't deny that is a big boost for the Reds as we gear up for this game against Manchester United at Old Trafford, looking to try and put the wrongs right from that game in the FA Cup quarter-final, and here's hoping that we can win it. But yeah, good to see Manchester United are on the ground at this moment in time and are struggling for confidence as Liverpool got yet another win. Guys, just early score predictions for that Manchester United game, just to get the conversation flowing. What is your score predictions for the match? Let me know down there in the live chat. Let me know down there in the comments if you're watching this on a replay. And if you are just piling in, guys, please do smash the old like button and subscribe. Abdul says, need to keep up the winning every game until the end of the season. No draws and no losses. The way you've got to look at it in these title races, and Liverpool have been in this situation twice before, is that you can't, when you're up against sort of Manchester City, and for this season as well, Arsenal, you're just going to have to feel that the opposition aren't going to be dropping any more points. And Liverpool have just got to be near perfect right until the end of the season. There's only 8 games to go. We can and are capable of going on an 8-game winning streak. But as stated, as I like the whole motto, that is, just take it a game at a time, and we're in a great place. Brexit Gaffer says 3-0. Dilip says 1-1. He's always going for as well. There is always a lot of drama with Manchester United because they are the drama queens. That Chelsea United game was fun to watch, but both teams played no defence at all. I watched the highlights back. Obviously wasn't watching it live, but I heard it was a good game, certainly a battle, but more on that. The only thing I was focused on, of course, was just seeing how Man United got on, and to see them on the ground is absolutely beautiful to see. Now, enough about sort of the opposition, enough about those other games, guys. Liverpool have made an announcement this morning that, of course, they are setting a 2% rise on season tickets, with many clubs, including Manchester City, announcing prices up to 5% for next season. Liverpool have made the lowest ticket price rise so far across the Premier League. The Reds have also announced that they will freeze ticket prices for juniors and local tickets at £9, which is one of the lowest priced tickets across the league. Explaining the 2% rise, Liverpool have stated this morning, the rise is a result of significant increase in costs around the club. In the past 6 years, annual operating costs for Anfield have increased by nearly 40%. During those 6 seasons, all ticket prices at Anfield have been frozen before a 2% increase was introduced last season for season tickets and matchday tickets. The 2024-2025 season ticket renewal period will be from April 10th to May 27th. Further details will be sent to season ticket holders in due course. Basically, for those of you that are interested in season tickets, or those of you that are season ticket holders, the main stand for an adult will be around £904. The Sir Kenny Dalglish stand as well as £889. Anfield Road is £868 to £817. So not much of a hike in terms of the prices. Certainly the lowest within the Premier League at this moment in time. But there has been, of course, a price hike when it comes to those season tickets for the club. But it's not the most disgraceful, as stated. Manchester City hiked theirs up about 5% as well. So it has been announced this morning that season ticket prices will increase, and ticket price in that case as well. So for those of you that are interested in that one, make sure you do check that out. That was announced this morning. Now, in terms of some other news, guys, with regards to our main title of today, is an actually interesting one, to be perfectly honest. In terms of where it's at, 2 seconds, let me try and find this right thing. I'm never really good at doing this. Why am I never good at doing this? I don't know. God knows. But look, listen. Anyway, Premier League clubs are considering scrapping point deductions and the PCR rules. Yes, Premier League clubs are reportedly considering scrapping profit and sustainability rules and instead introducing a so-called luxury tax. A report from Mike Keegan in Daily Mail has revealed that Premier League clubs are considering of getting rid of the PSR, what is used for, or what used to be financial fair plays. And basically, 14 of the 20 Premier League clubs would need to be in agreement to push for a rule change, and Keegan says this could be met. Radical reform has been discussed among the clubs, and the entirely new system could be voted in at the end of the season meeting in June. As many as 17 of 20 clubs are thought to be leaning towards significant change. Some feel that the eventual 6-point penalty dished out to Everton and the 4 handed to Forest were a draconian and not reflective on why PSR was actually brought in the first place. Instead of PSR, a so-called luxury tax has been suggested. This would involve that spend over limit having to pay a fine that is redistributed to the Premier League and EFL clubs. This news has caused controversy, with several questions being asked as to the motives behind possible changes. For example, clubs that are willing to overspend on players are more likely going to be willing to pay the associated levies, therefore rendering the tax ineffective as a deterrent. It could leave clubs such as Everton that only managed to avoid serious financial trouble due to having to spend restrictions applied in even more difficult situations. Without a sufficient disincentive, there is no more chance reckless owners will run their clubs into serious trouble. It also brings into question the fairness of the competition. If it weren't already, it really would become a league for those with the most money to become successful rather than favouring clubs that are run well. Now, why this affects Liverpool? Well, over the years, we haven't really spent the most, to be perfectly honest. It's one of those situations is that, look, the PSR and the sustainability rules are in place to try and save clubs, to try and make sure that clubs aren't overspending and having the competition in place. And now we've kind of seen over the last couple of seasons that, well, especially this season, clubs actually getting punished for breaching these rules. And one of these things that keeps on coming up is everybody's talking about the sort of Big Six cartel. Obviously, Liverpool currently do coincide and sit within this sort of Big Six cartel, as everybody talks about. So the other 14 are very pissed off with what's kind of going on, and I kind of understand where they're coming from. Mainly, Everton fans, I suppose, Aston Villa fans at this moment in time, Newcastle fans, of course, that they do have the money to spend and they want to try and catch up with other clubs and try and compete, like anyone would want. You want any club that you want to feel that your club can go on and win a title, go on and win trophies. And a big part of the big part of the game these days, of course, is investment. And these rich and wealthy owners within the Premier League are now not being able to sort of spend money due to these PSR things and having to sell players and kind of be shrewd with their business going forward. And as stated, a lot of the Premier League owners are pissed off about that. Now, one thing for Liverpool is such, we're a very, very well-run club. We've always stayed within these sort of guidelines. And for us, actually, probably Liverpool and Spurs, the sort of PSR rules are probably quite good for clubs like us because, well, we're a very sustainable club. We don't spend above our means. We're not really a club that's spending so much on sort of transfers. We're not spending a lot of money recklessly. We're also spending or investing a lot into our youth and those kind of things to try and be different in the way that we compete. Now, obviously, with this new rule change, it would see these clubs being able to spend massive amounts of money. You're looking at Newcastle, you're looking at Aston Villa for a scenario that they have wealthy owners. Everton that had done it previously. Now, I'm kind of in the middle with regards to it because I do feel that all clubs should be able to try and compete and go far as possible, but not recklessly. I don't think we're here to try and turn this into the sort of Saudi Arabian league where they just pay loads and loads of money for players and just it would just change the way that this is, and it would really affect the Premier League. And I think for clubs that are well run like Liverpool, and it would maybe pose a disadvantage, especially with what we've been doing at with the academy and that level. But that's what's apparently going to be happening. Apparently, there's a good chance that could change, and that the Premier League clubs are considering scrapping the point deductions and PSR rules. It said that 17 out of 20 clubs want that change. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. Are you for the sort of profit and sustainability rules? Are you against it? As stated, let me know down there in the live chat. Let me know down there in the comment section below if you're watching this on a replay too. So yeah, an interesting one there with regards to that. But yeah, potential rule change imminent for the Premier League when it comes to this. Someone says do a poll. Yes, I'll have a little look. Do you think the PSR rules should be scrapped? There you go. It's an interesting one. Certainly, I can see it from both sides. Most certainly, I can really see it from both sides. You've got to understand it, but it just allows other clubs to sort of cheat and, well, not cheat necessarily, but just pay. So like Manchester City, Chelsea, these kind of clubs just chucking checkbook after checkbook at players, and it just wouldn't make sense for us. But yeah, the poll's starting to take votes anyway. Do you think the PSR rules should be scrapped? Only 27% of you so far are saying yes. It's a large proportion of you saying no. So that's very, very interesting indeed. But yeah, super happy, guys, of course. Sorry for the manic start. As stated, I went to play my lines off and speak about the show. And then, of course, I realised that my mic was muted. Of course, that would have been cut up by now. But yeah, it kind of threw me off. So sorry for the dodgy start of the show. Lastly, guys, there's a bit more on Ruben Amorim. Basically, Liverpool have already reportedly held talks with the sporting manager. This is more yesterday's news rather than today's news. As stated, we said yesterday that Barcelona weren't interested as they wouldn't be able to reach or meet the release clause that Sporting Club de Portugal have in place for him. But the Athletic's David Ornstein has came out and said he's very much in the frame for Liverpool, not Barcelona, and conversations have already taken place. So interesting there with David Ornstein, very reputable when it does come to sort of transfer news, when it comes to sort of football news in general. And the fact that we've held talks doesn't really surprise me. You know, the whole thing with the whole Alonso saga at the start of over the last couple of weeks. You don't want to be left hanging right to the summer to find a manager that's not necessarily interested in coming to the club. So I do think Ruben Amorim will be coming to the football club. Definitely, and then David Ornstein has sort of backed that up, that Liverpool have already held talks with them as well. So it's something that will probably take place over respect to Sporting, but something will probably take place over the next, towards the end of the season as we go into sort of May time, and allow, of course, him to go out and wrap the title up in Portugal, and then, of course, see us try and wrap the title up as well, because it's getting more interesting, guys. It's getting exciting in the Premier League at this moment in time. 8 games to go. It's very, very interesting indeed. Alan Pugh says it's funny it comes up with City having 115 charges against them. Well, certainly, I don't know how that would stand with regards to them, but they certainly should be facing disciplinary action on the old regime and shouldn't just get a bye because they broke the rules of the previous. So they should be getting points deduction. But it all smells very, very funny with the whole PSR stuff and all that rubbish that keeps on going with regards to it. So, yeah, interesting indeed. Lastly, actually, I keep saying lastly, I think there's a bit more news. Jurgen Klopp also gave us a bit of an update with regards to Wataru Endo, and always said some good news after a scare for Ibrahima Konate. Obviously, Endo was absent as the Reds won 3-1 on Thursday last night. Klopp revealed that the midfielder did pick up a knock against Brighton, and his omission from the squad entirely may cause concern. But speaking in his post-match press conference, the manager did confirm he is set to be available this weekend. So that's good. We've not got another injury there with Wataru Endo or an injury to Wataru Endo. He said that's that's my information. We expect Endo to be available. We rested him today. We had a feeling there could be a chance for tonight, but if we left him out, there could be a bigger chance for Sunday. I hope that didn't change, he said. With regards to Konate, obviously he suffered a nasty blow to the knee during the second half yesterday, but the decision to keep the Frenchman on the pitch and later sub off Joe Gomez instead caused debate among selections of the support given his injury history. But in an update on the squad as a whole, Klopp appeared to reveal that there was no issues for Konate. He said nobody got injured as far as I know today, so recovery started already. We go recover and go again. So yeah, no injuries, and it looks like we're probably on the other side now of those injuries as well. So that's also very, very good to hear. So yeah, interesting, guys. Quite a lot to discuss, or that's quite a lot of stuff we've went over. Of course, the Premier League revelation, of course, is that the PSR and points deduction could be scrapped in a new vote between Premier League clubs. It looks like 17 out of the 20 are in favour of that rule change. It would only take 14 of the 20 clubs to agree on it for it to go through. Of course, Liverpool have announced that they are hiking up the season ticket prices to 2%, or by 2%. So season ticket prices will be a bit more expensive next season. And then, of course, we went through yesterday's victory against Sheffield United, and then, of course, went through Manchester United's current injury crisis and them losing against Chelsea right at the end, which just made my night even better. Look, I'm not obsessed at all, but, you know, I kind of like to see Manchester United losing. It's a great place to be. I always like it. It just makes me smile all the time. So here's hoping that we can get the job done against them at Old Trafford this weekend. I don't have any doubt in my mind that we won't. The FA Cup quarter-final doesn't really scare me because I felt like, as I said, it's a cliche saying, but we lost the game, they didn't win the game. But look, we need to be a lot better, take our chances, and I feel like mind is most certain on it. We can't be losing to Manchester United again because they are rubbish. I just watched the highlights and they were crap, honestly. So one of those, but hoping, of course, we do show up for that game, and I have a really good feeling that, of course, we will do and get all 3 points in that clash against Manchester United. But that's it, guys. I think that's all I've really got for you today, troops. I'm just going to have a little look through any more points that I wrote down, but that's kind of it, to be honest, with the briefing. There might be a video later if anything else comes out later on today. But yeah, that's kind of it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in as always. Do get involved in the comment section. I'm going to ask a couple of questions for you. Who was your favourite player? Who was the best performing player against Sheffield United last night? What's your early score predictions for the Manchester United game? And do you think the PSR rules should be scrapped? Yes or no? Yes or no, and why? Down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 500 likes on this live stream. Thank you all.